Mining is dangerous work. A lot's got your attention, and a lot of it probably isn't good for you. So it's a good thing you're a dwarf. Hey there, it's me, the myth, the fish, the quish. Today, I'd like to talk to you about what makes DRG so special, or at least justify why I've spent an unhealthy amount of time in this game. As mentioned, you're everybody's favorite brand of short alcoholics, dwarves, employed by the titular mining corporation Deep Rock Galactic. Your job is hard, dangerous, and you don't even get the beer for free. Yet somehow, despite that, I and many others keep coming back. And I'd like to talk about why. DRG has 4 playable dwarves: Driller, Engineer, Gunner, and Scout. As a Driller, you're out to turn the Geneva Convention into a checklist. Your weapons burn, freeze, or melt your enemies, and I guess you drill too. The Engineer can build sentries, make platforms, and give everyone radiation with nuclear ammunition. The Gunner is not only the backbone of any defense against the hostiles of Hoxies, but also the go-to revive guy with his bubble shields. He also has zip lines to help the team transport heavy items, or get down an area really fast. As the Scout, you die from fall damage. Like, a lot.
He's absolutely gonna die. I called it.
That was close.
Alright, let's try it again.
Player over here. Nice.
But when you aren't breaking your dwarven shins, you're making sure your teammates have all the light they need with your flare gun. This all sounds pretty standard, right? A co-op game with multiple classes that do multiple things that support the team in specific ways, but how DRG manages to make all of this work is what sets it apart. In DRG, everything you end up doing will have a positive impact on the team in some way. Say, you might even be acting in self-interest. Maybe you're a scout, zooming through the caves to grab minerals first, or maybe you're a driller making a shortcut so you don't have to walk far. In the case of the Scout, you grabbing minerals first doesn't impact the team poorly because resources are shared across everyone. For the driller case, you may have made that shortcut for you, but it doesn't stop it from being useful to the rest of the team. The game uses these little things to basically bring out the best in a player. If everything you do has a positive impact for the team, and everything they do has a positive impact for you as well, then a feedback loop of helpfulness is created. Even if you're just killing bugs, you're contributing because a dead bug can't hurt you or your team. The dwarves themselves contribute significantly to this feeling as well. Their banter and genuine sense of camaraderie is practically infectious. And they're just as willing to goof off as you are. They'll kill bugs with you, drink with you, dance with you, and so on. Everyone gets gently nudged into their own roles by the game's design itself as you learn what's most effective. You'll drill tunnels for your team, or shoot a platform to lower fall damage, or maybe give the Scout a place to stand high up. You'll toss shields down to prevent a fellow dwarf dying or to buy some breathing room during a swarm, and you'll light up the caves because it helps everyone to see just as well as you. Ghost Ship Games is also very aware of how players act and respond to one another. There's a ton of little details that go a long way to not only make you and your fellow dwarves feel like coworkers, but friends. Mission control being annoyed if you spam a voice line by pinging something, the ability to kick things around to each other, being able to dance whilst you drink, and of course, there's one simple phrase that cannot be ignored.
Rock and stone!
With a single press of the V key, your dwarf yells some variation of Rock and Stone! Rock and Stone was created by Ghost Ship as a way for you and your fellow underpaid dwarves to elevate your work into something more than just hard labor. There is no way, shape, or form that Rock and Stone can be negatively received. It can be done as a greeting, a celebration, a way to say thank you, and all with the press of a single button. It's also delightfully infectious. Maybe I'm just a huge nerd, but I sure find myself yelling it, just in real life for no reason at times. Rock and Stone is a core addition to the identity of Deep Rock. It may just be the most iconic thing about it. With it comes an extra addition to making everyone playing just that much closer. One of the Rock and Stone callouts is "Leave no dwarf behind." And that phrase has cemented itself in the game's culture. I have seen people do near suicidal things to attempt to save a fellow dwarf, going above and beyond for no reason other than they feel they need to save them. It creates a beautiful sense of brotherhood when all hell is breaking loose. No matter if you've just met or not, you'll bond over killing the bugs that swarm you and getting revenge for any one of your dwarven brethren that got so much as scratched. You'll mine together, you'll do things like throwing objective items to one another when one of you can't cross a gap or get over a ledge with their hands full. You'll break apart meteors, you'll build pipelines and clean up rock pots. You're a true, genuine team, and you'll prove that time and time again just by doing your job. However, it is worth noting that the game can be played solo, and it's a much different experience. Gone is the camaraderie, and with its absence comes tension. You do have a little robot buddy named Bosco. He's actually very useful. But Bosco can't save you from a swarm the same way a dwarf can. He lacks the firepower. This means that depending on the difficulty, class chosen, and environment, a solo mission can be a nightmare. It makes DRG feel more like a survival horror game, and honestly, I kinda love it. Swarms become a lot more desperate as you dart around, draining your ammo with precious little nitro to restock yourself. You'll have your back up against the wall almost the whole time, and survive a lot just by the skin of your teeth. These caves are dangerous, and I think it's about time we get into that rock we're mining, shall we? The depths of Hoxie's are a constant hazard. The caves in this game are procedurally generated. I've never gotten the same cave twice. They can go from claustrophobic tunnels to absolutely massive rooms that are really difficult to navigate. Even without the hostile fauna, it's dangerous work. Gravity is always a threat. You might end up near blind and slowed by a sandstorm, maybe suffering from radiation or the harsh cold. Hollowbow may be one of the most hostile biomes of them all. There's a scary beauty to its twisting and winding tunnels and walkways, yet the invasive red vines will poke you full of holes, goo sacks will slow you down, and sentient stabber vines will tear you in two. That's not to mention the other unexpected dangers like meteors. The cave generation often makes caves difficult to navigate, which is where all that dwarven teamwork I mentioned earlier comes into play. If you're alone or missing a certain class of dwarf, you'll be really feeling the effects of that. Especially if you don't have a scout. Your personal flares can only give you so much light. The biomes of DRG alongside the procedural cave generation really benefits how cool it is to explore them. Even the same biome with the same mission type won't yield the same cave twice. The level of curiosity and spirit of adventure I feel running down a tunnel, tossing flares to see what's ahead, or finding myself in some massive gaping maw of a room constantly scratches my love of exploring. That curiosity can be rewarded when you find things like lost helmets that lead to treasure, or machines left behind by the previous generation of miners that have been left inactive until you stumble along. And whilst I'm not really a technical guy, the lighting effects really help make DRG visually look super cool. It's got this charming, low-poly look, and I do like the art style. The lighting, though, really adds to make all of this look especially pretty. It's not just the caves themselves that are dangerous, though. In fact, you'll find what's most dangerous is what lies within them. The glyphids are spider-like, blind alien bugs that want nothing more than to tear you to shreds. Granted, we're kind of invading their planet and stripping it of its resources, so can you blame them? There's also the Mactera that fly around and shoot you with what I assume to be some kind of internal stomach acid. You'll be dealing with these bugs a lot. Not only will you periodically come across them at times, but every once in a while you'll get a warning from mission control.
Bunker up, team. Swarm incoming.
Swarms keep you on your toes. You don't want to drag your feet too much during your mission because if you do, you may end up overwhelmed as they continue to occur. What's worse is when a bulk detonator shows up in one. Bulks are these massive glyphid exploders that never blew up and grew to astronomical size. They're the biggest threat you'll face in the caves because they can wipe out a whole team. They also make pretty scary noises. Deep Rock holds a special place in my heart. Before I played it, I actually didn't think I liked any fantasy races enough to ever say, I want to play them exclusively in a game or D&D or something. Well, consider that buried because I'm an absolute dwarf fan now. You have fun with, like, elves, tabaxis, and I don't really know any other races, but as for me, I'm hanging out with the stout beer drinkers that have beards big enough to hide snacks in. This game just has a lot of what I like rolled into one package. It's got fun player interactions, it's got excellent atmosphere, a sci-fi horror kind of vibe, killer music, and really consumer-friendly business practices. Heck, even with my, 400 hours of playtime, I still haven't found everything. There's just so much in this game to discover. GSG has effectively made a game I can't put down. I want to keep exploring. I want to keep getting those positive experiences with others that fill me with hope. I actually struggled to write a script on this one. My attempts to constantly joke left me with a lot of writer's block. So instead, I decided to just write from the heart and be sincere, and I hope that it's still engaging. If anyone from Ghost Ship is watching this, thanks for making a game that has become my go-to, for creating an experience I've been looking for in a game for a good long while. I've failed, I've succeeded, I've had great moments and goofy ones, and I'll keep coming back for more of them in this wonderful game. I hope this more sincere take on a video is still engaging, still good, but, I've been working in the mines for a while today, so I think I'm gonna clock out. My name's Quish. I hope you have a good one. And remember, rock and rollin' stone!